Senator Lindsey Graham says Senate Intelligence Committee will call Ukraine whistleblower. Hello and welcome to TSD. If you are new to the channel, tap on the subscription button and press the notification bell so you can receive news and updates that you can rely on daily. The Senate Intelligence Committee plans to call the whistleblower whose complaint was the impetus for impeachment proceedings against President Trump, according to a top Republican senator. Great news. With impeachment headed to a likely acquittal next week, Senator Lindsey Graham described on Sunday how Republicans in the chamber are gearing up for investigations on 3 fronts. The Senate Intel Committee under Richard Burr has told us that they will call the whistleblower, the South Carolina Republican said on Fox News' Sunday Morning Futures. "I want to understand how all this crap started," he added. The impeachment effort began to take root with the emergence last year of a whistleblower complaint raising concerns about a July phone call between President Trump and Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky, in which the American leader asked a favor of his Ukraine counterpart to investigate the Bidens and other Democrats. The complaint, which the Intelligence Community Inspector General determined to be urgent and credible, was submitted by a CIA analyst, whose identity has never been publicly confirmed. Republicans have accused House Intelligence Committee Chairman Adam Schiff, who is now the lead impeachment manager, of being complicit with the whistleblower because the person met with a House Intelligence Committee aide seeking guidance before filing the complaint, and because the California Democrat recruited 2 former National Security Council aides who worked alongside the CIA official, some believe to be the whistleblower at the NSC in the Obama and Trump administrations. If the whistleblower is a former associate of Joe Biden, I think that would be important. If the whistleblower was working with people on Schiff's staff that wanted to take Trump down a year and a half ago, I think that would be important. If the Schiff staff people helped write the complaint, that would be important. We're going to get to the bottom of all of this to make sure this never happens again, Graham said. Senator Richard Burr, who hails from North Carolina, said last year he absolutely wanted to hear from the whistleblower. But Republican members of his panel were split on the matter as House impeachment proceedings were underway. When asked for comment, a spokesperson for Burr pointed the Washington Examiner to past statements by the chairman, including him saying the whistleblower had not yet agreed to appear before the Senate Intelligence Committee and stressing that the panel does everything it can to protect whistleblowers and witnesses. Impeachment proceedings began last fall with Democrats accusing Trump of improperly leveraging a White House meeting and nearly $400 million in security aid to pressure Ukraine into helping investigate his political rivals, including former Vice President Joe Biden, who is running for president this year. As Republican allies of the president called for the whistleblower to come forward, Democrats argued that witness testimony and documents move the impeachment case beyond the whistleblower. Lawyers for the whistleblower warned that identifying their client would put that person's life in danger. The House charged Trump with abuse of power and obstruction of Congress, but the president's legal team argued that the Democrats' case fell far short of proving impeachable offenses. Trump is now headed toward a likely acquittal on Wednesday, after the Senate voted to reject a motion for additional witnesses and documents. Graham, who is the chairman of the Senate Judiciary Committee and does not reside on the Chamber's Intelligence Committee, also described 2 other investigations that will be taken up by GOP-led panels in the Senate. He said the Foreign Relations Committee, of which he is also a member, will look into Biden's alleged conflicts of interest, and the Judiciary panel will deal with all things FISA. Let me tell Republicans out there, you should expect us to do this. If we don't do it, we're letting you down. I guarantee you, if its shoe were on the other foot, Democrats would be eating us alive if Republicans had done any of these things, he said. Take a good watch.
Lay out the next couple of days. Why will the vote to acquit the president be on Wednesday? Why not tomorrow?
Well, Democrats have the ability to drag out the trial. There was an agreement reached to do it Wednesday at 4. Allow some Democratic candidates to go to Iowa. I think that had a lot to do with it. But we're going to turn the page on impeachment at 4 o'clock Wednesday. All Republicans will vote not guilty. I think we'll pick up a handful of Democrats. I'm glad this trial is coming to end. It's the closest I ever want to be being in purgatory, so it's been painful. It's going to end, and we're going to turn the page and deal with the issues important to the American people. And the day of reckoning is coming for congressional and Senate oversight of Joe Biden and the FISA warrant process.
Should we expect your committee to call to testify Hunter Biden, the whistleblower, Adam Schiff, all of those names you've been talking about? Is this going to happen this upcoming week then?
Right. It's going to happen in the coming weeks. Jim Risch is the chairman of the Foreign Relations Committee. Jim, if you're watching the show, I hope you are. We need to call the chief of staff to John Kerry, who was told about the conflict of interest with Hunter Biden being on Burisma's board early on. Hines, the stepson of John Kerry, was a business partner of Hunter Biden and Devin Archer, and he told the State Department, I'm not part of this deal. I don't think it's right. George Kent told the State Department it would be a conflict for Hunter Biden to be on Burisma's board. Let's start there. Let's call these people in. Eventually, we'll get to Hunter Biden. And I want to know why the Obama administration did nothing about this obvious conflict of interest. Joe Biden should have given up the Ukrainian portfolio, or Hunter Biden should be taken off the board because they ruined America's ability to effectively deal with corruption in the Ukraine by having Hunter Biden on the board of Burisma. That's just a fact, and we're going to get to the bottom of it.
I mean, you even have John Kerry's stepson writing a note to John Kerry's aide saying,
yes,
I don't like what's going on. We have this email here that we're going to show. And he even said, I don't want to be anywhere near this Burisma situation. We are not investing here as Hunter Biden was.
Well, those three people on that email are the first witnesses. Did the chief of staff, once notified, did he go to John Kerry and say, hey, Joe Biden's got a problem? Can you imagine what would be happening today if this were a Republican vice president whose son received $3 million from the most corrupt gas company in the Ukraine tied to Russia? It'd be front page news all over the world. We're not going to let it go, Jim Risch. You need to start it. When it comes to FISA, I'm going to call Rosenstein, Sally Yates, McCabe, and Comey to find out how a warrant was issued against Carter Page on 4 different occasions without an adequate foundation, and find out how the Department of Justice and the FBI became so out of bounds when it came to Trump.
Well, what about Adam Schiff, Senator? I mean, Adam Schiff, we know, has been lying or fabricating things for at least 3 years. He told us collusion was in plain sight between President Trump and the Russians. He told us he didn't know who the whistleblower was. He read a parody that he called it, which was not even the contents of the phone call between the president and the Ukraine leader. I mean, he's saying all of this stuff, and he's not under oath. Will you put him under oath?
The House Intel Committee, the Senate Intel Committee under Richard Burr has told us that we will call the whistleblower. Why is it important? I want to find out how all this crap started. If the whistleblower is a former employee, associate of Joe Biden, I think that would be important. If the whistleblower was working with people on Schiff's staff that wanted to take Trump down a year and a half ago, I think that would be important. If the Schiff staff people helped write the complaint, that would be important. We're going to get to the bottom of all of this to make sure this never happens again. Intel, Senate Intel will deal with the whistleblower. Foreign Relations Committee will deal with Joe Biden's conflict of interest. The Judiciary Committee will deal with all things FISA. And let me tell Republicans out there, you should expect us to do this. If we don't do it, we're letting you down. And I guarantee you, if it were if the shoe were on the other foot, Democrats would be eating us alive if Republicans had done any of these things.
I can tell you for sure you will be letting down my viewers. They want accountability. For 3 years, this country has been in hysterics over collusion that never existed, and now this Ukraine situation. We'll be watching, Senator.
Thank you. We're not going to let you down.
Let us know your thoughts in the comments down below. And haven't you checked out the official TST store yet? It has a variety of Patriot-themed custom t-shirts, sweatshirts, mugs, phone cases, and tons more. Make sure to take a look. Maybe help us out picking some products at great prices. It does make a huge difference to what we're doing here. Link in the description below. If you've liked this report, let us know by tapping that like button down below, share the news among friends and family, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more news and updates on TST. I'm David Ravine, and I'll catch you in the next one. Till then, take care.